a job will be waiting for you. But now it is no longer the case. It might interest you to know that back then, Zambia had two universities, the Copperbelt University and the University of Zambia. So if you graduated, a job is set for you. But today, Zambia has in excess of 50 registered universities, 350 registered colleges. Getting a job is difficult. It is the case for medical doctors, 7 years behind the desk. We've seen medical doctors lifting placards now. They want to be employed. This underscores one thing. Getting a job has become very difficult. So it is incumbent upon all of us to begin thinking of entrepreneurship. And if you looked at our families, you know certain uncles, aunties, nephews, nieces, who graduated and 5 years down the line, they have not been employed. It is because jobs are difficult to find. So that is why I want you to think of entrepreneurship. The other reason why I want you to think of entrepreneurship is for a simple fact that entrepreneurship is one of the surest ways for you to become rich. Entrepreneurship is one of the surest ways to become financially independent. I should indicate that 74% of the world's millionaires are entrepreneurs. Those who make it so big by virtue of being employed, they are very few, less than 10%. So the majority of the rich people that you know, just have a quick assessment of the rich people that you know. You realize that almost all of them are entrepreneurs. And just to give you an example of how this gets to work in terms of wealth. So let us look at an expensive vehicle. I just give an example. The vehicle that you love. Let's just a quick one. My sister. What vehicle do you like? Oh, okay, fine. Crew. Another one. Then, all right. Another one. Range Rover. Yes. Another one. Rolls Royce. All right. Great. Another one. That is partial. What? Omega. All right. Okay. So now pause there. You've mentioned very powerful vehicles, very expensive vehicles. So let me pick just one vehicle as an example, just one. So, or maybe I'll just use, the vehicle that I kept driving, I think the Range Rover. All right. So the Range Rover. So for those of you that are in Lusaka, there's a place called Levy Hospital. As you go towards Levy Hospital, there is a showroom of vehicles on the right-hand side. Have you seen it by chance? Yes. Great. So, walk in that showroom. When you get in that showroom, ask. It is free. They don't charge, by the way. Whether you're a man or you don't, get asked. Walk in there and ask for the Range Rover 4. Let us say this together. Range Rover 4. They will tell you that the price of the Range Rover 4 is a simple 9 million what? 1 vehicle. Now, what am I trying to do in this example? I want you to get this. 1 Range Rover 4, how much? 9 million. Okay. Let us take one profession that pays very well, that you know of. If you graduated from university today, which job pays very well? Sorry? Accountant? Engineer, okay? Alright, fine, doctor? Alright. medical doctor. Of course, if you're an accountant, engineer, you can rise through the ranks and get to higher offices. But if you are starting, or as you are starting, medicine is one of those that pays very well. Medical doctors get about 20,000 per month. All right, so let us take medical doctors as an example. So let us assume that a medical doctor wants to buy the Range Rover.
Big body.
What mathematics do we do? Let us say 9 million divided by how much? 20,000. How much are we getting? 450. So that is 450 months, right? Maybe 450 months doesn't make a lot of sense. So let us convert it to years. So what are we supposed to do? Divide by 12. So 450 divided by 12, what do we get? 37.5. What does this tell us? A medical doctor has to work for 37 years and a half to buy one Range Rover. And that is with an assumption that this medical doctor gets all the salary and he saves to buy a vehicle. So if he is saving half of his salary, how many years is he supposed to work? Over 70 years to buy one Range Rover. Now, what does this tell us? What does this tell us? We see Range Rovers around. Then who drives such vehicles? Clearly, it is entrepreneurs. So the starting point is that the top vehicles you see around are driven by entrepreneurs. The top houses you see around, most of them are owned by entrepreneurs. So if you looked at the people that are financially sound, most of them are entrepreneurs. So when I encourage you to begin thinking of entrepreneurship, I am saying it from an informed point of view. So as we leave this point, well, you may be an accountant, but you can be an accountant who becomes an entrepreneur. You may be a doctor, you can be a doctor who owns a hospital. You can be a nurse, you can be any profession, but what I am challenging you on is to begin thinking of entrepreneurship. And having laid that, there are three things that I want us to hit on this morning. Number one, why you think the way you think and how you can change. Number two, the powers that rule the world, which is poverty and wealth. Then number three, I'll challenge you to then add value on yourself so that you can position yourself for wealth. So let us start with the first one of the three. So number one, why do you think the way you think? Let us pause there. Everything that you have ever interacted with in your life, from the time you were born, everything that you've interacted with using your five senses, anything you've seen, touched, heard, smelled, tasted, is recorded in your brain. And this recording is in a physical form called the neural pathway. Now I'll break it down so that we can understand it better. So what is a neural pathway? It is important for you to get this so that you can assess why you do the things you do and why you think the way you do. So when you see something, when you hear something, when you taste something or smell something, a physical line is drawn in your brain, physically there, and it will never be erased. So it's a physical line. So one line drawn. When you interact with the same thing again, I the area line. So the more you interact with the same thing, those lines then become a patch, which is then a neural patch. Now pause there. I've said the neural pathways, when you do the same thing many times, it becomes a patch. So pause it there. Now, your brain, your thinking, I'll divide it in two. So there is the cognitive thinking, where you can say, let me do this, no, this is not right, this is wrong, this is what, that is the cognitive thinking. Then behind the cognitive thinking, there is the subconscious. Now, the subconscious, you don't, I'm getting some noise from behind. Is there a problem behind? No. You see, I think let us get this right. Excuse me behind. Is there a problem behind? Our leaders, I think people are shouting at each other behind. I don't know what is happening.
Okay. Shh. Where they are the class? Those of you behind who are making noise, thou shalt keep quiet. If we come there and spot you, we will take you back home. I plead in the name of Jesus, don't disturb those who want to learn. Exactly. If you don't want to learn, tell us the station is there, we'll take you home. P1, Amnitawaka Lumo, na peace sort. So should we hear any noise and we spot you, what we will do with conference directors is to find where you sleep and we take you home. I plead with you, keep quiet. Hallelujah. Amen.
All right, thank you, Director. All right. Yeah, I think this is better. All right, I don't even have to shout anymore. So, we talked of the neural pathways. I want you to get this. So the neural pathways, you do the same things, it becomes a patch. I talked of how the brain works. You have the conscious mind, where you make cognitive decisions. Then behind that, you have the subconscious. Now, the subconscious doesn't think. It takes in everything, it records everything, and this subconscious is what controls you. So the part of the brain that controls you doesn't think. But do you know where it feeds from? It feeds and eats from the patches that you have. Those big patches are the ones that the subconscious uses to control you. So how can you fool your subconscious? Here's a simple thing. You use your cognitive thinking to decide how you would want to behave, and the more you do it, the subconscious will pick it up, and that behavior becomes natural to you. Let me give an example. So if you decided that from today, going forward, you want to be waking up at 04. You want to be very serious with your life. From today onwards, you want to be waking up at what time? 04. You use your cognitive thinking and set an alarm for 04. So 04 comes, the alarm goes off. It rings, you wake up. Now, your challenge or the challenge to you is this simple. When the alarm goes off and you wake up, make a cognitive decision to say, I should not go back to sleep, I should wake up. Force yourself. As you wake up at 04, a line will be drawn, the neural pathway will be drawn. So the following day, when the alarm goes off at 04 again, another line will be drawn next to the earlier one. So So the more you wake up at 04 for 7-10 times, that then becomes a patch. Once it is a patch, you don't have to think about waking up at 04. You know what is going to happen? Your subconscious then kicks in and controls that. Do we have people here by chance who wake up at a particular time, immediately it is time they wake up? Yes. What time? 6 or 04? I think what time? 5 on the dot? All right. At midnight. I hope that has nothing to do with witchcraft. But anyway, this underscores one thing. This is the power of the subconscious. So what will happen, and this is how powerful the brain is, what will happen is that 05 on the dot, exactly 05, you are going to wake up without an alarm, without anything. Immediately you wake up. Why? Because the subconscious has taken charge of your life. So if you are to change anything about yourself, if there is any behavior that you want in your life, and you have been struggling, struggle with it for the beginning, push yourself, because you know that with time, the subconscious will take up. Once the subconscious has taken up, everything becomes natural. It is the same thing with exercising. Those that want to exercise, as you go to the gym at first, it will be difficult, but the more you push yourself, a time will come when you have, in the day when you've not gone to the gym, you will feel very bad, like there's something amiss about you. If you decided that you want to be reading more, at first you read 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, you feel like sleeping, you'll be feeling lazy. But the more you push yourself, use your cognitive thinking to say, I want to build myself and become a person who reads. So push yourself, the more you read, a time will come when you have not read anything, you will feel very bad, like there's something amiss with you. Now the question that I have with you this morning is, what sort of patches do you have in your brain? What patches have you created in your brain? Remember that it is these patches that determine how far you go in life and the kind of behavior that you are going to have. And that is why when you bump against a stone, the words you say speak of the patches that are in your brain. So others say, oh my God.
Yes.
Then for some of you, and you sound maybe like this, not so, yeah, like this. But it comes without thinking. Why? Because those are the patches that are in your brain. So for those that drive, you know, if you drove coming here, you won't think about indicating. You can't even remember where you indicated, where you applied brakes. It has become natural. But the time you started driving, you'll be looking where the gear is, where the indicator is, where the brakes are. But now it happens naturally. Do you know what has happened? The subconscious has taken up. And some of us have certain behaviors that are so bad. Behaviors like patches that talk of lying. This guy lies anyhow. Even where it is not necessary to lie, this fella will lie. Why? Because the patches that are there are for lying. So how can you change yourself? Make a decision today that you'll be deliberate about the patches that you create. It is as simple as that. I know that you are coming towards the end of the year and people make resolutions. Yeah, no, me, new year, new me. 1st January, me, I'll be closer to God. Me, what? You think of it that way, but the moment you get to 1st January, you try to do that. By the time you are getting to the 5th of January, your body and everything will just say, why are you troubling me? Back to default settings. Why? Because the neural pathways are not yet a patch. Does that make sense? Can you change your behavior now going forward? At first, here's the challenge. At first, it will be difficult. But once you have pushed yourself through that difficult phase, you can do anything in life. Whatever you want to do, you can have that achieved. If it is reading, if it is being truthful, if it is being honest, that you can do. It is as simple as that. Nothing complex with that. So, you think the way you think, and you act the way you act because of that. So on that note, I'll move to the second thing, as we are laying the base on how you can position yourself for wealth. There are two forces, so we're getting to the second one. There are two forces that rule the world. Two forces, two major forces. And this is the force of poverty and wealth. You see, you cannot undermine the power of poverty. You cannot undermine the power of poverty. There are professions that are premised on poverty. Professions going to university premised on poverty. They flourish as poverty is. There are bodies that are very powerful. Who, if poverty diminished today, those bodies will be useless. Amongst them, United Nations. United Nations is existing mainly because of poverty. UNICEF. And I know that some of you say, I would want to work for UNICEF. Do you know what that whole profession is premised on? Poverty. Poverty. Poverty is a very powerful force. It can make you do certain things that you wouldn't wish to do. Poverty. And here's what I want us to pick from this. Poverty is evil. Poverty is bad. I don't mind if you are poor and you're in poverty. I don't mind, but don't celebrate poverty. Poverty is the devil. Poverty is bad. Poverty is bad. And I feel bad when people try to celebrate poverty and try to embrace poverty. And this could be noted as an example. Proverbs 10 verse 15. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. So we cannot entertain poverty as God's children. We should shun it with the greatest contempt. It is not good. It is not good. So with that said, and you know, there are many verses that talk of, you know, wisdom is better than wealth. But the wisdom of the poor man is not listened to, and his ways are despised. And the question is, why, as God's children, do we seem to embrace poverty? Why is it that as God's children, we seem to entertain poverty? Do you know why we are having difficulties and our pastors are taking so much time propounding the word of God? Do you know that this came in because of money? So we cannot ignore money. This issue of propounding Jesus and people not believing Jesus, this thing came in because of a financial transaction. Matthew 28. Angels come in, an earthquake is there, the stone is rolled out, Jesus is up. The guards who were there, they witnessed what happened. But when they went to the priests, I think maybe let us get to this verse, so that you understand why we are struggling, sharing the message of Jesus and why people do not believe. It came in from this. So the guards that were there. So this is Matthew 28. Or we can get on to verse 14. Or maybe we can do 11. Now when they were going, behold, some of the watchmen came into the city and shewed unto the chief priests all the things that were done. So these people who witnessed what happened, they went to the chief priests and explained to say, this is what we have seen happen this side. When they talked to the chief priests, 12, and when they were assembled with the elders and had taken counsel, they gave large money unto the soldiers. So, after they explained what had happened and that Jesus had risen, they explained everything. Then the elders came together and said, okay, here's the thing. They gave these soldiers that witnessed a large sum of money. After giving them this large sum of money, and this is what they told him, 13, saying, yea, his disciples came by night, and they stole him away while we slept. And they even assured them at 14, and if this comes to the governor's ears, we will pursue him and secure you. So they took the money and did as they were told. And this saying is commonly reported among the Jews until today. So the lack of belief for Jesus came in because there was a financial transaction that happened. This is the power of money. Now our pastors have to do, is it homiletics and whatever else, just to see how they can propound. I saw Pastor Nathan sweating to the point that I saw the jacket behind. Weight, propounding the weight of Jesus. But imagine if these soldiers who witnessed what happened said what they witnessed. The story of Jesus wouldn't be of debate today. It is of debate today because there was a financial transaction. Even Delilah, who sold off Samson. Delilah was not a bad girl. Delilah was a good girl, but she was a good poor girl. Money came in. When money was exchanged, Delilah sold Samson. This is the power of money. Even Judas sold Jesus because of what? Money. It is not necessarily that, oh, of course, the devil is there and whatnot. But you see, Judas could not believe what he did. It is for that reason that when he got back to his senses, he committed suicide. This is the power that money has. But the question that I want us to address is, how should we deal with the issue of money as Christians? The challenge that we have is that we want to distance ourselves from money, forgetting that to propound the word of God, we need money. To have this powerful peer system, we need money. To come here at this camp, we need money. We need money for many things. Our churches, we keep talking about building promotion. Why? Because money is not there. As God's children, let me put this across. As God's children, there is nothing wrong with you being rich. Nothing wrong. Actually, there is nothing wrong with you being stinking rich. Nothing wrong with that. If you looked at all our patriarchs, these were rich people. You can start with Abraham. Abraham was so powerful such that a nation could not hold him with a nephew Lot. They had to go separate ways. Even after going separate ways, when Abraham heard that the nephew Lot was captured in the battle of Siddim, Abraham sent 318 trained servants. Not all servants, trained servants. 318. You have one gardener. You want to trouble us. We shouldn't sleep. These were powerful men. Very powerful men. 318 trained servants from his household. Go to Isaac, the son. Isaac. Isaac was so powerful to the point that the king of Palestine followed him and said, "You have become mightier than we. May you go away from us." It is in today's time, President H coming and saying, "Mr. Banda, you have become mightier than we." Now, when the king said than we, he did not say than me. We combined. That's how powerful Isaac was. In fact, even after testing Isaac, the king followed him in the valley and said, "May you make a covenant with us that do not rise against us." That's Isaac. These guys were powerful. In fact, even if you looked at the one that we laugh at, who sold his birthright, what is his name? Esau. Notice, when Jacob was going back to meet Esau, the livestock were sent ahead. When Esau got, he questioned, said, "What is this for?" Then Jacob, of course, indicated that this was a present to you. Listen to the feedback from Esau. Esau said, "I have more than enough. I have more than enough." And this is the person who said he wasn't poor. These guys were powerful. But then, where do we get this message that seems to suggest that the poorer you are, the holier you are? Where do we get this message that seems to suggest that when your shoe is finished one side, then you can be a powerful evangelist? Where do we get this message that seems to suggest that for you to be a powerful prayer warrior, then you must be lacking bread? Where does this message come from? Of course, as you get to the New Testament, I think this is where we've misinterpreted things. Now you come in and say, "You see, I am poor." Because you see, it is okay. You see, Jesus was born where? In the manger. So it is okay for me to be what? Poor. Well, it is true. Jesus was born where? In the manger. But notice, it was circumstantial. Because then there was a census, remember? And Jesus' parents moved from hotel to hotel, searching for accommodation. But all hotels were full. That's why he was born in the manger. So don't comfort yourself with poverty. Don't comfort yourself with poverty. I think time has come for us as God's children to rise and realize that it is okay to be rich. I know we can discuss the issues of entrepreneurship, but if the base is not okay, if we think that poverty is okay, then we won't work hard and we won't push. And there are verses that we even specialize in. You know, the love of money is the root of all evil. Listen, it is not money. It is the love of money. Money itself has no issues. It is the love of money. By the way, who loves money more? The rich or the poor? Because the rich, they already have it, they spend. See where prostitution is high, where poverty is. See where burglary is high, where poverty is. So let us not comfort ourselves in poverty. Let us not. Because as you get in Matthew 25, it has a number of parables. It begins with the one that talks of, the virgins. Maybe let us leave the virgins one. The next one talks of talents. Notice, the servant who did not multiply his talent, he was called slothful and wicked. Slothful and what? Wicked. Slothful means lazy. Lazy and wicked. So if God God has given you talent. A talent to sing, a talent to beg, a talent to do whatever that you can do so well, and you have not utilized that talent, and you happen to be poor, my brother and my sister, you are slothful, and not only slothful but wicked. That's what you are. That's what you are. And that as it moves from that, just to explain on things to do with wealth, as it moves from that, it says, as he comes with his glory, all nations will gather before him. Then you separate as he separates the sheep from the goats. Then you say to those on the left, I was naked, you never dressed me. I was hungry, you never fed me. I was thirsty, you never gave me to drink. Now, question, are those spiritual or economical issues? You get it? But we seem to have a challenge. As God's children, we are not pushing as hard because we think, no, their passions are pure down. I'll walk on silver and gold. Yes. My Father's house has many. We've comforted ourselves that way. And our thinking is that then it is okay for us to be poor here. That message is unfounded. In fact, we can dissect all the verses that we relate to when we want to comfort ourselves with that. No, it is difficult. You see, Elder Dumisani, it is difficult for the rich man to enter heaven. Just as it is for the camel to go through the eye of the needle. You know these verses. It is true. It is difficult for the rich man to enter heaven. Just as it is for the camel to go through the eye of the needle. But notice, the poor man is not mentioned there. It does not say it is easier for the poor man. It does not say it is easier for the poor man. The poor man is not mentioned anywhere. I mean, that thing is too high. We can't start discussing the poor man. We can't start discussing the poor man because for the poor man, it is worse. Yeah, we can't start discussing the poor man yet. That thing is too high. Listen to the feedback from the disciples. It says, Matthew 19, then they were exceedingly amazed. They were not just amazed. They were exceedingly amazed. Then they question themselves, then who? Who enter heaven? I mean, if the rich can't, then who? Because notice, for the poor man, if you are failing to provide for your family, remember, he who fails to provide for his family is worse than an infidel. So if you are failing to pay school fees for your children, you are failing to feed your children, you are failing to provide for your family, you are worse than an infidel. Now, an infidel is a non-believer. Now, it might interest you to know that a Satanist is better than a non-believer because the Satanists, at least they have something they believe in. Yeah. So you are worse than a Satanist. So don't comfort yourself in poverty. Yeah. Don't comfort yourself. This must be clear in God's children. No, the poor will always be among you. It says the poor will be among you, not that you will be the poor one. Yeah. So let us be clear that it is okay as God's children to be rich. Not only rich, but stinking rich. Hallelujah. Amen. So having laid that foundation, we'll quickly get on to the last part, which is add value on yourself. So this morning, I just thought that we should lay the foundation. Lay the foundation. So when I talk of adding value on yourself, this is what I'm putting across. You are paid based on the value you have added on yourself. You see the salary that you get, that is your value. The salary you get, that is your value. The money you make in your business, that is a reflection of your value. It is as simple as that. So let me lay this foundation. You can change many things. You can change the company you work for. You can change the business you do. You can change the profession. You can change many things. But there is one thing that you will not be able to change. And that is yourself. And it is on that account that I encourage you to become deliberate about adding value on yourself. Then as we get down to how you can add value on yourself, I should say this, and I want you to get it very well. There is intrinsic value. So intrinsic, there is inner value, which is your value. Then there is extrinsic, which is, the things surrounding you. I'll be slow on this. The things surrounding you. The job you work for, the income you have in your business, these things surrounding you. These things that are surrounding you are a reflection of the value on yourself. So never complain. I want you to get it here. Never complain about the salary that you are getting. The salary you are getting is a reflection of your value. It is the reflection of your value. Life works in such a way that what is on the inside is reflected on the outside. That's how life works. The principles are very clear. What is on the inside must be reflected on the outside. Here's something interesting that I can tell you for a fact. My sister, if you got a job where they are paying you 900,000 a month, would you accept it? The question first, the question that you have is that, what kind of a job can I do that can give me that kind of money? Because that money is way too much. You can only say the money is too much for a simple reason. You know your value. You know that for me, 900 is too much. Are they calling me to kill my family or what? Because 900 is what? Too much. Yourself, you can even tell yourself, this is too much, this is not my value. But you know that there are people that are getting 950,000 kwacha per month in Zambia. The reason is simple. Their value calls for that. You give them a job where they're getting a 500, 600,000 a month, they'll turn it down and say, no, this is too small. Why? It is because of their value. Here's the thing that I want you to pick out. When what is on the outside is different from what is on the inside, the mindset will work over time to normalize that. Let me explain. Let us take it that you are working now and you are making a monthly salary of 10,000 kwacha, hypothetical amount, 10,000 kwacha a month. So let us take it that the job ends. You are deemed redundant. So you lose out the 10,000 kwacha per month. So in trying to position yourself, since you have no job, so you find another job for 2,000 kwacha per month. Well, you can get a job for 2,000 kwacha, but notice, your value was at 10,000, now you are getting a 2,000 kwacha. Your mindset will kick in and say, this is an anomaly. This must be corrected. And do you know what the mindset will do? it will work overtime to normalize. What will start happening instantly? You will start, as you are working, getting a 2,000, but you'll be dropping application letters everywhere else. Because your mindset is telling you, no, this is not the place. This is not my value. This must be normalized. So you'll be dropping application letters everywhere else. You'll be trying to find a side hustle. What your mindset is telling you is very simple. This income is too small for my value. It must be normalized. Does that make sense? So in a similar way, when what comes in your account is more than your value, the mindset will trickle in again and to start saying, no, there is an anomaly here. This money here is too much. This money must reduce it to my level. And your mindset will trouble you until that money reduces to your level. Example, have you ever been in a situation where you have received or you have money in your account and money is so much than your value to the point that all of a sudden you start thinking, what can I do with this money? Which handbag can I buy? Which shoes can I buy? Which phone can I buy? That money will trouble you until you spend it. It reduces up to your level. It is for a simple reason. What is on the outside cannot be more than what is on the inside. The mindset to work overtime to normalize that. So you find all of a sudden you want to spend, you want to eat everywhere, you want to what? You only get back to normal when the money has gotten down to your value. And this is the case with those men who you could have heard of in certain families. No, this man was a good man, married to one wife, and all was well. And his value, hypothetically, it is 7,000 kwacha per month. And all was well. Then all of a sudden, this man gets pension. 2 million in the account. The mindset looks at 2 million. It is confused. That no, there is an anomaly here. The anomaly is too big. And the mindset kicks in to try and normalize. He tries to ignore the money, but here's what happens. When there is so much on the outside, money is in your account. Have you ever been in a situation where 0-1 you wake up and you're thinking about your money? Like, you can't even sleep. Why? Because what is on the outside is more than what is on the inside. Have you ever been there before? 0-1. You wake up. What can I do with this money? What should I do with this money? It is for a simple reason. What is on the outside is more than what is on the inside. And money can't give you sleep. You wake up and now you start even thinking, money is in the account. Instead of thinking, is money in the account, I start saying, is the bank still there? Because you're worried. So this bank, 2 million in the account. What tricks in is that let us normalize this. And all of a sudden, the mindset would trigger behaviors that should bring down that money. All of a sudden, a man who was prayerful, all was well, church 7-8 hours, is the one opening the doors at church. Prayerful man. Money comes in. The value on the outside, 2 million. Inside, 7,000. The mindset, he becomes abnormal instantly. All of a sudden, he wants to find ways of spending the money. All of a sudden, a good man now has girlfriends. Slave queens. Because God finished money faster. Slave queens. So you will see slave queens. You will be going everywhere, holiday everywhere, marrying. In fact, they even go to the point of marrying somewhere else. If promise one wife, you are a powerful man. He knows. He will go everywhere. What is happening there is that the mindset has brought out of behaviors that should reduce the money, so that what is on the outside is the same as what is on the inside. He will do that, then you being Christians, you then come in, no, we need to pray for this brother. We need prayer and fasting. This man has gone berserk. Things are bad. You see, that man doesn't need prayer. You know what? You pray and fast and do whatever that you will do. Don't worry. Don't worry. When that money has reduced to his level, you will come back to normal. He doesn't need prayers. There is just an anomaly. What is on the outside is more than what is on the inside. It is as simple as that. Now the question I have for you, based on the investment you have done on yourself, how much money can you hold without spending a sleepless night? At what level is your value? Where have you positioned your value? How much have you invested in yourself? Can you be confused with the 5,000? Is your threshold 10,000? Is it 50,000? I hear yes. Is it 100? So everyone has a level. But the question at the interview, yeah, everyone has a what? Has a level. Now the question that I want you to address, based on the investment you have done on yourself, where does your value sit? Having said that, there are 4 things that I want you to factor in to increase your value. Watch the books you read. You see, the books you read have a way of making you a better person. Read content that will make you a better person. If it is on social media, read things that will add value to you. The more value is added on you, it will position you better to hold finances better. If you don't invest in yourself, when money comes, it will just disappear. Actually, the moment when you start asking, what business can I do? What can I do with this money? It simply means you've not added enough value on yourself to hold that kind of money. Be deliberate with the books that you read every day. Number 2, what videos do you watch? What sort of people do you follow on social media? You can't be youths that are following jokes and memes on social media. You can't be youths that are following, drama. Who's dumped who? Who's done what? Who's addressed more? Who's in more nudity now? You can't be that kind of a youth. The question is, what sort of videos are you following on social media? What things are you watching on social media? Or Dumisani? Oh, okay. Yeah. Those are the questions that, you see, you can't keep following memes on social media. Day in, day out. Laughing your life to poverty. You can't do that. Be a youth with a meaning. Number 3, associations. You see, the people you associate with have an impact on your life. Have a direct impact on your life. The value that you have is impacted by the people surrounding you. We tend to think that peer pressure is for young ones. No, it is the kids. You see, even as older people, we are affected by peer pressure. But you know how peer pressure works for older people? You are not told to say drink, smoke, or do this. It is just natural. What they are doing impacts you. So what sort of people are you keeping close to yourself? Are you keeping people around you who you just be competing on how poor you are? No, me. Between me and poverty, just 500 kwacha. You are complaining about 500 kwacha. Me here. 100 kwacha. That's what I have. 100 kwacha. That's what I have. And you see, when you're in that competition, the only one who can join in is the one who is more poor. So when one says 100 kwacha, the other one, you are complaining about 100 kwacha. Then of course our last fight will come in and say, you guys, you are surprising me. You are complaining about 20 quarter. Me, I've even forgotten how it looks like. You know, competing on how poor you are. And I shouldn't get this. How my life changed in a way. And how associations impact how you get to push. Those of you that know my story, I was born at a village. Very poor background. And I like saying this. We were so poor, such that the poor called us poor. That's where I come from. From the village started my journey at Material Boys selling pamphlets. From pamphlets, I began open the kiosk at the village. From that, I began trading in goats, buying goats from deeper villages, bringing to Chibodi. And I was just a teenage boy. When I was 17 years old, I crossed for the first time, got to Botswana to buy furs and clothes. From then on, I began getting things from South Africa in my teenage years. When I was 20 years old, founded a company with two other friends, a software company. And this software company, we have actually a software package called Glad Tidings eSchool. It's a school management system. In fact, our breakthrough was in Mansa, at Mansa College of Education. That's where we did the training from. And my life changed completely from there. When life changed, when I was turning 22 years old, I was the happening young guy. I bought my first truck at 22, Mercedes-Benz Atel. By the time I was turning 23 years old, I had Volvo FS12. So Volvo FS12 is what you call truck and trailers. You know, those big trucks. And people couldn't believe that a 23-year-old could own such trucks. And I like sharing this. I remember at Kabangwe checkpoint, one of my drivers had trouble with the traffic officers. Then the traffic officers called for the owner of the truck. When I got at Kabangwe checkpoint, the moment the traffic officer saw me, yeah, he shouted at my driver saying, "Iwe nakuza titana bene bake, not mwana wa bene bake." Meaning, for those that don't know Nyanja, I told you to call the owner, not the son, to the owner. Why? Because people couldn't believe that a 22, 23-year-old could own such trucks. 25 years old, I found the DLN technologies. That is why, I don't know if you know, back in the days, it would take you 3 weeks to get your ATM card with your name on it. But now, you get your ATM card instantly with your name on it. And most of the banks are using our machines to do that. So I have been an entrepreneur. So now, here's where the story is. Alright, so here's where the story is. No, thank you so much. Here's where the issue is. So I was a happening guy, and of course so much more has happened after that. But the turning point, the real turning points came in at that point when I was running the tech company. And of course after that, you know, for those that follow me on social media, you know that when I visit certain countries, I'm welcomed by the vice president, the governor, or the ministers. I mean, life has entirely changed. And if you want to check for the Zambian Entrepreneur of the Year 2023, you can check that. Yeah. But before getting to that, 25, I thought I had made it. The radical, and the name, that's why the name was now coming in, the radical entrepreneur, and everyone is pumping me up. And you know what? I thought I had made it. 2018, thought I had what? Made it. A guy who could own such trucks at a young age. Everyone is respecting me. That's how I felt. Until I went for a meeting in London, United Kingdom. Now at this meeting, we were the 7 of us coming in from Africa. And in this case, out of the 7, we were the 3 of us, if not 4, who were blacks. Getting in London at a place called Park Plaza. Now, Park Plaza is at a place which is the most expensive district in London. Well, maybe in case you have not been there, just imagine that there's an expensive district. So, I'm a top dancer. And all is where? At that point, I am feeling myself. Have you ever felt, and in fact, in feeling myself, I was feeling, you see, the village boy is here. Like, have you ever felt yourself like, okay, you know yourself, but you are feeling yourself? Have you been, that feeling where even as you are walking, it's like you're not stepping down, like you're floating. Have you been there? Like that feeling where you look at everyone else, it is like they're breathing oxygen and you're breathing nitrogen. I don't know. I was there. So a big gathering, powerful men. In the morning, all is well. The problem came in at break time. At such a meeting like this, then we broke off for a moment. Now, where we got to, outside the hall, there are these cocktail tables. So cocktail tables are those round tables which are a bit high like this. So you don't sit, you are just standing, and the waitresses are moving around with the wines, with the wine, like they are there. I am feeling myself. The radical entrepreneur is where? London. Hey, have you been in those conversations where you are holding, drinks like this, and the hand can't just be there, it must be in the pocket. I don't know what happens. You are there. The conversation is happening, all is well, until on my table, this man decides to complain. And his complaint was, you see, our turnover has reduced from 400 to 380 million dollars. Now, you see those figures. Now, those figures have not held them, not even in quarter, not dollars. We can't discuss dollars yet. In quarter, the figures are too huge. And this man is complaining. Now, I am so surprised, but you have to act like you are not surprised, like those are figures. So you're like, now that can be very painful, where you are surprised, and you have to act like you're not surprised. So you're surprised inside. So on the outside, you must smile like nothing is happening inside. So I'm getting traumatized at that point. Who complains about such figures? $380 million. How dare you complain? As I was still processing this, the other man says, no, Asi, we have maintained at $600 million. At that point, I knew that me, I am finished here. But then in my heart I said, these guys can't intimidate me. I mean, these are cocktail tables. I am not seated. I mean, I can as well walk somewhere else. These guys are enemies of progress. So I decided to walk to my fellow African man. So I got to his table. I mean, I'm not tired. You guys see around. Yeah, that is good. Yeah. So moved to my fellow African man. Coincidentally, when I reached, he had just received a message from the PA in Ghana that they have been paid for the pilot project to do analysis. Now, this is not even phase one, just the pilot. $80 million. When I heard that, I knew that in a changa paruparipi. At that point, I knew. When my time, because at that point I knew that here I am what? Finished. There is nothing for me. When my time came to speak inside, I said, in my heart, I said, here, I can't speak figures. Based on the figures I've read, me, I can't speak what? Figures. When my time came to speak, I said, here, I'm going with percentages. Now, you see, we increased our turnover by 20%. And they are clapping, yeah, that is good. They don't know 20% of that. We have cut our cost by 15. They are clapping and they didn't know 15% of what, 20% of what. But after the meeting, when I got to the room, I am alone. I just thought Zambians can kill you. Radical coming to embarrass me here. From that day, I decided that me, I will work like I've never worked before. Why? Because I had associated with people who were doing better. They didn't have to tell me to say work hard. Just by seeing them and what they were doing, I told myself that I need to work in hard. The question is, the people you associate with, do they challenge you to become a better person? Or you just compete on how poor you are and how broke you are? What conversation do you have with the people you associate with? Betty, this is the challenge to all of you. I want to challenge you this morning that your life can change. Be deliberate about adding value on yourself. And I know the journey has just begun. This morning, I just thought I should lay a foundation. We have not yet started discussing. This is just the foundation. May God bless you